Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryan Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti. There is a question we have. What is a dream? I'm just reading the quick question. What is a dream? After we finish all that, he's asking this question. Listen to entire Ramayana lecture. They say, Sita Ramachittapan. What is a dream? But it's good. Are there any correlations between dream and our activities? Some people regularly get dreams. I hardly get any dreams. Good, no. Occasional dreams I get are unconnected to my activities. Request you advice. 1, Vedanta angle, and 2, from angle of human psychology. Human psychology, I'm not planning to give an answer for that. If you want a human psychology, call me. Right, there I'll explain. Now, what is Vedanta angle? We can study here because we are studying the subject Vedanta. So we restrict ourselves only to the Vedantic perspective. Now, first is, what is a dream? Oh, very good. Now, the starting, very nicely been put, the quick question. Because even without that question, rest of the question are still valid. But this is how you are supposed to be thinking. First, go back to the basic definition of it. What is the meaning of dream? Keep referring to that back, time and again. Anytime you have a doubt, first thing you need to do is this, in your thinking also. Wherever you get lost, go back to the fundamentals. Go back to the basic question, what is it? So get an understanding of what is a dream. A dream is what is experienced by the dreamer. The dreamer's experience, his perceptions, his emotions, his thinking, his actions, all that, his interactions, all that is called a dream. So, how does a dreamer come about? Who is a dreamer then? Dreamer is pure consciousness plus partial manifestation of the vasanas, the subtle body. Subtle body plus pure consciousness is equal to dreamer. Pure consciousness plus causal body is equal to deep sleeper. Pure consciousness plus gross body equals waker. And their respective experiences, their respective worlds were referred as dream, deep sleep, waking. And also what you need to remember is, whenever we say gross body, it includes subtle body, includes causal body. When we say subtle body, it includes causal body, but not the gross body. I hope you have not forgotten what is gross body, what is subtle body, what is causal body. If you have forgotten, now I can't be going. Go back to the human composition chapter and read that. Okay. I can't go to that much of detail. Then suddenly don't answer, what is gross body, subtle body, causal body? Whenever we use the word gross body. So, gross body, pure consciousness plus gross body, waker. His experiences were called waking. Pure consciousness plus subtle body is equal to dreamer. His experiences were called dream. That's called as dream world. Pure consciousness plus causal body is equal to deep sleeper. His experience is deep sleep, nothingness. So what is dream? This is dream. Okay. Now go back to the, now what is your issue? Now he is asking, is there any correlation between dream and our activities? Now, what do you mean by our activities? Our activity means you and me put together or what? Huh? What is our activity here? That you got to define. What the questioner is referring to is our activity means waker's activity. Isn't it? Because we believe what? It is waker who is doing all this. You can't blame them because we are addressing the waker. Okay. So what you need to remember is we are the entire Vedanta, entire philosophy is speaking to the waker. Remember that. So in this chapter, whenever it is used, you put it within brackets as waker. You means waker. So our activities means my activities. My activity means, whoa, who is that me? Me is the waker. Are there any correlations between dream and waker's activity? I'm just rephrasing the question. This is how you analyze. I'm just, showing how do you deal with the question. You got to rephrase it. Rephrased question is, is there any correlation between waker's activities and dream? Is there a connection? Presupposing what? There seems to be some connection, isn't it? There seems to be a connection because whoever we are transacting is the people we see in the dream also, isn't it? Only your known people come to your dream, no? Isn't it? Yes, has any one of you got Sita Lakshmi in your dream? Why? None of you know who she is. My grandma. I may get her in my dream. You will not get her in your dream. Why? You don't know her. Same way, I will never get dream about your grandmother. She will never come in my dream. All the things, the places that we go, that we see in the dream is connected to the waker. So we all believe what? There is a connection. Right? Now that's where the difference comes into picture. This is what I told you in the last class. I didn't elaborate it, but I do remember to have been mentioned it. There is a difference between how this psychology, this subject will be studying about dream and how Vedanta studies about dream. There's a world of difference between the two. In Vedanta, what happens is there is a similarity. Since we see a lot of similarity, we believe there is a connection. I'm not saying there is no connection. There is a connection. But the connection is not what we believe as connection. The connection here is what you experience in the waking, sometimes you see, or many times you see in the dream also. That is because of the similarity of the vasanas. It's the same vasana. See? That's why the definition is very important. The causal body, subtle body. Causal body, subtle body, gross body. So, how you have to understand is like this. See the chart. Deep sleep, you keep moving. Okay. You keep moving between the three states. Sometimes you are in deep sleep, sometimes you are in dream, sometimes you are in waking. How long you will be will vary. That is not our issue here. If you take 24 hours, if you take 1 year, if you take one lifetime, now we are not worried about the duration, how long you are going to be there and all that. But what we all go through is these three states: deep sleep, waking, dream. Now, most of us think it is waking that is causing the dream. Vedanta says, no, it is not waking or the waker is the cause of the dream. It is the vasanas. It is the deep sleeper. It is the vasanas is the cause. The partial manifestation of the vasanas is called the dream. Total manifestation is called the waker. The deep sleeper is unmanifest. Dreamer is a partial manifestation of the vasana. Full manifestation of the vasanas is called waker. And what he is experiencing is waking. Since the vasanas expressions are all similar, this happens. So one thing causes both. Same vasanas causes waking, dream. But what happens here is, when you wake up, that's where he is asking the next question. I hardly get any dreams. I don't get more. A lot of people say that. Sir, I don't get, much dreams. But very rarely I do get feeling. Now, what is happening is, when you move out of dream, immediately you forget everything about the dream. The moment you move out of that state, like the moment you move out of that waking and enter the dream, you completely forget waking. Similarly, when you move out of dream to deep sleep or dream to waking, you forget the whole thing. So most of the time, it is that forgetfulness that is making us believe as though I have not dreamt at all. Hardly we get. Only few dreams we remember. What sort of dreams we will remember? Say that you have about 100 vasanas. Okay. Those 100 vasanas, all those 100 vasanas experiences, let's say, you get in the dream, Of that, you will remember one or two. What is that one or two? Is that one or two which is so intense, so strong, it expresses in the waking also. What happens to the rest of 98, sir? The rest of 98 is exhausted, over. That's it. It's eliminated. It is experienced in the dream and it is gone. And don't think immediately all my vasanas can I exhaust only through dream and all that. That's not what is referred there. Okay. Now immediately don't get into this, you know, the whole thing will be lost. It's not. It just goes back to unmanifestation. It just comes a little out and then gets out. It's like you do get sometimes, irritated, but not angry. You see? You see the difference, no? Rage is much more intense. Irritation, anger, rage. How the whole thing manifests. Similarly, some vasanas which are not so strong, but it just little manifestation only comes and then it just goes off, just goes back. Goes off in the sense it just goes back to unmanifest. That's about it. It's not that it is exhausted like in the sense of vasanas getting exhausted, you get enlightenment. Not in that sense. Just goes back. Some vasanas which are so similar to that strong, intense vasanas that you experience in the waking, also experience there. Those things you will remember. That's about it. Other things you will not remember. One. Another thing is that experience of the dream should be so strong for you to remember. Should be such a strong experience. That's why most of us, wake up when we have a horror dream. You remember. Normal dreams, you will not remember. If at all you remember some dreams. That's why we say, we don't get into this dream analysis and all that. It's a waste of time. I've told you. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, after puking, vomit, you analyze what is there? Or you just wash it off. Nature gives a blessing to us to wash off. Don't. But sometimes few things will overlap. That overlapping is because of the similarity of the vasanas. That has got nothing to do with the waker. But at the same time, we had referred, I don't know how many of you have heard, but we would be referring to, if you listen to the lectures, we would be referring to stating desire, this dream is nothing but undigested thoughts of the waker. You would have heard this. That's only preliminary introduction to dream. Right? In that introduction portion of Vedanta, when we are studying, we will be referring dream. What is dream? Dream is nothing but undigested thoughts. Undigested thought in the sense, like when you are going, like in a car, you would see a group of people from Rajasthan moving with there's a train of camels in Bangalore. Right. They have come, they are taking this camels there. You don't see camels in Bangalore. Right. So it's a rare sight. And the camels have been dressed so nicely. They have come here for some, show, some demonstration. They have come. So they show that very nicely. It's been dressed so nice and all those things. You see and you miss it. Suddenly you keep going, and you see near that food street. You know, food street in Bangalore, where is it? Don't say every street is a food street, sir, in Bangalore. We have a separate street called a food street. The street is full of food only. Go there. Vivipuram. For those who don't know, it is in Vivipuram. Please go. Right. Fantastic food you get. There. So you go there. As you are going, passing that food street, you see this Pani Puri shop. You wanted to have, but unfortunately, you are getting late for the class. So you rushed and came for the class. Okay. You wanted to stop the car and have, Pani Puri and then come, but then you realized it is already late. I don't want to miss the class. So you rushed and you came and you are sitting in the class. You listen to the lecture, waking, dream, deep sleep, and all those things. And you don't remember any one of this. Okay. You just saw on the road, just missed it, you missed it, and you came. Tonight, when you go to sleep, there is a possibility that you may dream as though going on a camel having Pani Puri. Right. Maybe you will see a Pani Puri wala on that camel coming and giving it to you. You may dream like that. This is what is referred as undigested thoughts of the waker. But this is only at the introductory level of studying about dream. Now, when you go to the real deeper analysis of the dream, Vedanta says, no, it is not the product of the waker. It is the product of the vasanas, which is the causal body. When those vasanas have a partial manifestation, it is dream. So you have very many vasanas. It's not that all the vasanas will manifest fully, not necessarily. It's not that every time you get upset, you flare up. It's not like that, no. Most of the time you don't flare up. Once in a while you shout. That's about it. Otherwise, every time you get, you don't keep flaring up. Like that it is. The vasanas are there, but you don't get a manifestation. So what will happen to all those things, sir? All those things will have a little expression there and go back. Little expression and go back. Little expression go back. Sometimes there may be an overlapping of the vasanas, which are fully manifest, also having that partial manifestation in the dream. Those things you will find there is a correlation between these activities. And what is interesting is, most of us will forget about all the dreams that we have had, but sometimes we will remember few things about dream. What you will remember is only the overlapping thing. Therefore, the waker comes to a conclusion. Look at the beauty here. You forget everything else. You remember only these one or two things. Therefore, you will come to conclusion what? Oh, all the dream that I'm having is only because of that waking experience. Thus, it is connected. Therefore, there is a link. All this belief we get into. And sometimes you may not remember the things. Since you don't remember it, you may come to the conclusion like you are saying what? Sir, I hardly get any dreams. Why? There is a possibility that you may not be getting much dreams. When you say you are not getting dreams, what is meant, what is understood here is either you are forgetting or there is no overlapping with reference to your waking. Therefore, you are not remembering. By nature, you will forget. Right? You would. Then he is asking this. The occasional dreams I get are unconnected. It appears unconnected. Have you ever seen Pani Puri wala on elephant or this camel? or the pani puri wala having a face like a camel. Camel is distributing pani puri. You know, all these weird things you will see in the dream. Why? Because the rules of the dream world is totally different from the rules of the waking world. Ulta. Totally different. In India, you switch on the light. What do you do? You pull down, it is switching on. In US, you go to US and you pull down, what happens there? It goes off. There you have to push up. It is opposite there, isn't it? The rules here is different. The rules there is different. In India, we drive in the left. In US, they drive on the right. Now the rules here is different. The rules there is different. Similarly, the rules of the waking is different. The rules of the dream world is different. The solidarity that you see in the waking, you cannot see in the dream. It would be more fluid. Why it would be more fluid? The fluidity is because of what? Because of partial manifestation. Isn't it? The partial manifestation and the full manifestation. There is a difference. That's why Vedanta is addressed to the waker. It's not addressed to the dreamer. Why it is not addressed to the dreamer? You cannot address. Why? It is fluid there. You need some orderliness. Some orderliness is needed here. Since we see that orderliness here, we believe we are in the waking state in comparison to the dream state. That is what, Mandukya Upanishad asks. Mandukya Upanishad doesn't say there are 3 states of consciousness. Mandukya Upanishad says only 2 states. Dream, deep sleep. There's no such thing called waking. Waking is what? You call it as waking. You go to the dream. The dreamer also will say that is waking. No dreamer will say this is dream state of consciousness. Every dreamer will say it is a waking state of consciousness. Now, what is the difference between you and him then? There's no difference. You are also claiming it is waking. He will also claim that as waking. So, both are waking state. So, he says what? Both are dream state only. There is no difference. Gaudapada beautifully argues and establishes this through reasoning. Amazing reasoning he does in his Karika. The so-called waking is also not waking. It is also dream only. That is why they say, you study this states of consciousness, it will take you to realization. It will take you beyond. Beautiful analysis. It does. Now that apart, here, as far as the question is concerned, what you need to understand is this. That this deep sleep, dream, waking, 3 experiences we have. It is not that you are not dreaming, nor is it. So we say, don't worry about the deep dream. Forget it. Don't get into this analysis. If you remember the dream, it is okay. If you don't remember, don't strain yourself to remember the dream. If you strain, you can. There's no problem in that. But it is of no use, number 1. Number 2, in the process, in that strain, you may break. Therefore, the advice of Vedanta is, don't get into this dream analysis. But then, what you need to do, there is one thing that you need to do as a powerful recommendation. Don't do it every day. Once in a while you can do it. It's very, very interesting to see. The beauty is You wake up, sometimes you may remember a dream. Okay. Now, don't get into this analysis of the chronological order of the dream. See, don't get into the details of the dream. What does a dream means? What is the connection of the dream to the waking? What is the meaning the dream is trying to communicate to me? Is this the subconscious mind is communicating and telling you something? When you are conscious itself, you are not able to listen. Huh? When you are half drunk, if I tell you, will you listen? Huh? Don't fall for all this, weird ideas, please. Right? But then there is one thing what you can do with reference to the dream. Or rather, there are two things you can do with reference to dream. For most of you, the second point is not relevant. It is a waste. So therefore, I'm not referring with reference to the second point. The first point is very interesting as an effort. This is the advantage of having the video on, so that I know to whom I'm addressing. Otherwise, I'll be talking things which is unconnected to you. See? This is why I tell people, keep the videos on, so that I know to whom I'm addressing. So to you, there is the, one point would be very interesting. That is, sometimes you will recollect, you will remember a dream. Right? You just wake up, you may remember it only for the first, few minutes, not more, or not even few minutes actually. You'll just remember it for a few seconds. The moment you wake up, right? You remember the dream. A tiger is chasing you, and it's coming and falling on you, and it's about to tear you open. And you say, you wake up, right? And the wife next asks, what happened? Yeah, nothing. I think you go back to sleep. Vedanta says, don't do that. Yes, just pause and recollect the intensity, the solidarity, the vividity of that dream, that experience, vis-a-vis your current experience. Right now, you're going through an experience, right? How solid it looks, how real it looks. Now, what is the difference between that reality and this reality? You see, just stay in that for a few minutes. Don't go on staying on that, right? You will break. But to do that once in a while, to see how much I believed in the reality of the dream experience, I felt it as actually there is a tiger that is pouncing on me. It's real. So solid, so real it was. Now I am sitting in the AC room, a fantastic mattress, sleeping. I'm sitting on that right now. This experience is also I'm feeling as so real, so solid, so immediate. Now, what is the difference between that and this? What is that and what is this? Now, invariably, after some time, you will say, what? That's that all dismiss is gone. You see? And this. That's what the study of this waking, dream, and deep sleep comes. Okay. The dream analysis. Beyond that, don't get involved in the dream analysis. All that you have to see, if at all you remember any dream, don't get into the details of it. Details of it is like, remember the example of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. May not be a very, sophisticated example, but that's the best way to communicate. All that you are doing is what? Checking what is there. This throw, man. Vomit, you go and check. Is there? You're puked. Why do you want to go and do this? But what you can do is this. This is what Janaka did. I told you that famous dream of Janaka. One day he dreamt a horrifying dream that he was suffering from starvation, the pangs of hunger, the pain of hunger. He woke up and he still remembered that pain. Just after having a fantastic dinner, royalties dinner, you have to see, lunch, their food, the spreads. I had the experience once to see with the royal family. I had a lunch with them. The dining table was about, slightly lengthier than my house. There were about, not many of them, only few important people were there. The plate was like, almost I got to stretch myself to reach to the other end of my plate, not in the other fellow's plate, my plate. In that they have, things. The instruction given to all of us was this: don't touch anything. Because we didn't know what is there actually. What they have cooked and what is kept. You can't ask them, what is this, what is that? You can't ask. So what you have to do is, they'll serve everything, take everything on the plate, and then keep an eye on Swamiji. Whatever he is eating, you eat. Whatever he is not touching, don't touch. Because we were asking, what to eat, what not. How do we know what is this, what is that? He said, don't worry, look at me. He said, whatever I'm eating, you eat. Whatever I'm not touching, you don't. The problem is he's sitting so far. It's like half a mile. In old movies you would have seen, they had one, slave. Communication between the king and queen. They'll be sitting two ends. So the king will say, how's dinner? The fellow will run. He will run to the queen. How is dinner? He'll go and ask her. She'll say, yeah, it's okay. Which dish you like? The fellow will run back. Because they can't talk to each other. They're so far. But to scream. That much that King Janaka had finished. That dinner he had. And he's sleeping. And he's dreaming as what? Suffering from starvation. Madness that is. He got up. He got a doubt now. The doubt was, which is real now? Is that real or this real? And all the ministers came, they all said, no, doubt, sir. Simple. This is real. That is unreal. So problem solved. But Janaka couldn't get satisfied with their answers. Then those ministers went and appealed to this master, Ashtavakra. He told them, don't worry, I will come and clarify his doubt tomorrow in the assembly, in the court. I'll come. I'll clarify his doubt. So it comes next day, and still Janaka was trembling. That intensity was so much, so solid. If we were there, we would have forgotten. Yeah, that's all. Right. Now, so many horror, dreams you would have had, and you would have woken up from that. Right now, you see, sometimes, people say, I keep on falling. What's the meaning of that? that means your business is going to go down. If you are flying, that means your business is going to go up. And the fellow says, I am unemployed. And the fellow told me, I will interpret your dream. I said, waking itself, we don't know how to interpret. There's a dream you are going to come and interpret. This is not what you are supposed to do with the dream. The psychology will get onto that. The human psychology will study with reference to these things. What's the meaning of that? What's the meaning of that? There, it has got nothing to do with the dream. It is to do with the interpreter. Remember, it has nothing to do with the dream. What it shows is what the interpreter believes in. It depends on the interpreter. Shankara believed in Advaita. Therefore, all the Upanishads appear to him as Advaitic. Ramanuja subscribed to the idea of Visishtadvaita. Therefore, same Upanishads, same Brahma Sutra appeared to him as Visishtadvaita. Madhva appeared as is this same thing, same dream. How Freud will interpret is very different from how Adler will interpret. Why? It has got nothing to do with the dream. It is to do with Freud, it's to do with James, it's to do with Adler. That's about it. That doesn't show anything about the dream. It only shows about him. Remember? So that is why Vedanta says, don't get onto that interpretations and all that. But one thing every one of us experience, what is it, sir? That intensity. We believe this experience of us is real because of the intensity. Right? If it is not so intense, it is not so solid, we will not believe in the reality of this experience of the waking. Same intensity is what you had experienced a moment before. 1 second before. Few seconds before, you felt that to be so real, so solid, so vivid. Right now, do you experience like that now? All that you got to recognize is that you will become extremely objective and philosophical in life. All that you need to do is only that much. This is the power of Vedanta. It doesn't give anything. It says all that you have to do is don't get into this, that. It's all not necessary. Vedantic view angle is only this. With reference to dream, what are you supposed to do, sir? No analysis. Example, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Then what are you supposed to do with the dream? Whenever you remember, once in a while, sit back and see the contrast, totally different experience, unconnected one, which you believed as so rigid, so solid, so real, so intense, so close to you. Right now, you are in totally different plane, unconnected one. This is all you need to do with reference to dream. Don't get on to anything else. Now, this deep sleep is what, sir? A deep sleep is a state of nothingness. Is it nothingness? Vedanta says, no, it is not nothingness. It is everything unmanifest. Since we understand only manifested, we cannot understand the unmanifested. With reference to that manifested, the unmanifested is called as nothing. Don't ask me to repeat. There's something you said, can you repeat? Flow just comes. So is it nothing that all that is known to you, all that you experience in the waking and the dream is not there in the deep sleep. Therefore, you say the deep sleep is nothing. Not the sense when you are in deep sleep, you know. Not in the sense like that you understand here. In waking, you know that you are in the waking state. This is the only advantage we have with reference to waking. Sir, what is waking state, sir? The only thing we know of is when you are in the waking state, you will know that you are in the waking state. When you are in the dream or when you are in the deep sleep, you will not know that you are in the dream, you are in the deep sleep. So, in the waking state, you are aware of yourself and you are aware of the things around you, all that. And also you would remember, you recognize that I am awake. Otherwise, every day morning, after waking up, you have to ask you got to ask for a proof. How do I know that I have awakened? If you had woken up, you will know that you had woken up. Right? That's what one fellow went mad on case, very popular, case in this one. This man got scared suddenly. If I go to sleep, what's a guarantee that I'll wake up? Right? I go to sleep. Is there a guarantee that I'll wake up? Suppose if I don't wake up, what will happen? And no doctors could cure him. Could give a solution to that. Because he's asking for guarantee. Now give me guarantee. They say, first go to sleep. He'll wake you up. His argument is what? No. Unless you give me guarantee, I will not get it. You see? It's like our farm, fellows, farmers agitation. Give me guarantee that you are going to repeal the law. Then we will sit for a discussion. Right? In a discussion way. That's a conclusion, man. You can't conclude and go and sit for a discussion. Like that, this fellow. He says, you give me guarantee. What's a guarantee that I'll wake up? No, I don't think I'm not putting thoughts in your mind. I'm getting scared now. Sir. What's a guarantee? There is no guarantee. Yes. When you wake up, you know that you had woken up. But in the deep sleep, you do not know that you are a deep sleeper. And you are in the deep sleep state of consciousness. Therefore, this education is not possible for the dreamer and the deep sleeper. This education on this three states of consciousness and then telling him all these three states are conditioned. Beyond this three is the fourth state of consciousness, which is that unconditional state. All this teaching, education is not possible to the dreamer and the deep sleeper. So the entire education, Vedanta, is addressing the waker. Since we are speaking to the waker, the whole thing will be assumed as you are a waker right now. Dream and deep sleep is lower state. Lower state, we say. Why they are lower is because the dreamer would not know that he is in the dream. Deep sleeper doesn't know that he is in the deep sleep state. The waker knows that he is in the waking state, and he knows there is a dream state, and he knows there is a deep sleep state. These three states are known to the waker, you. But what you don't know is what is beyond this. What is beyond this? Is there anything beyond this? We don't know. Those who have experienced that say there is something beyond. That beyond state is what is referred as the fourth state. Don't ask immediately, how do you know there is only four? Maybe there is five, maybe there is six, maybe there is seven, maybe there is eight, maybe there is 200. What they are referring to is not that. Now, if at all you want to know, is there any fifth? First you come to fourth, then you will know is there anything fifth or not. So don't keep asking irrelevant things. You see, people do as though it's a huge analysis. There's nothing there. You just meandering. Fourth, when they say it's not number four, all that it means is there is something beyond this three. Beyond the three is referred as the fourth. That's it. Now don't take it as 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you take it in that sense, then it will become maybe there is 5, maybe there is 6, maybe there is 7 and all. Right? That's not what is referred here. And he says the fourth state. The fourth state means it is just a state which is lying beyond that. That's about it. Don't say that immediately. What is this? So what is known to us is the three, because the waker knows he's in the waking state. He knows there is a dream, there is a dreamer. Then he knows there is deep sleep, there is a deep sleeper. He knows all that. Now, these masters, that the scriptures, they say there is a fourth state. In the waking, I'm just reading the text. Page number 194. In the waking, dream, and deep sleep states of consciousness, you become the waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper. All through your life, as a waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper, you refer to yourself in the first person singular pronoun I. But you know that the waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper are distinct and different from one another. Hence, these three unequal factors cannot be I. I is not the waker or dreamer or deep sleeper. I is apart from them. The self that holds the three personalities together, the pure consciousness, the fourth state known as Turiya. Turiya means fourth. Turiya is the state of reality, the supreme state of peace and bliss. Those who have reached that state in different periods of history have declared that to be the absolute state of fulfillment. This is the catch. What he is giving here is, you know these three things, but what is not known to us, what is not known to the waker, to the student, to us, is the existence of the fourth state. Now, what is a proof of that existence of the fourth state? Something beyond the three, something different from the three. What is that? That's the proof he is giving here. The proof he is giving is, you keep using this first person singular pronoun, I. You say, I am the waker, I am the dreamer, I am the deep sleeper. that I is constant, the same, but that same I is getting equated to waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. All these three were all unequal factors. That's what he says. They're all different from one another. Waker is different, dreamer is different, deep sleeper is different. How can different things be equated to one and the same? Since you are equating like that, that means that one is different from waker, different from dreamer, different from deep sleeper. And that one has to be different and beyond waker, dreamer, deep sleeper. It is different and it is beyond. Therefore, it is referred as the fourth. This is different from this. And not only that, he gives one more point here. One he is giving is a logical explanation from our thinking, from your own experience, you can understand this. By your own application, you can recognize this. For those who are not able to do that, for those who are of that emotional type, the devotional type of people, he gives another reason. He's supporting his reasoning with the one more factor. Another factor he's giving is the last thing. Those who have reached that state in different periods of history, those who have reached, which means it is not just one man saying, only he has said that, that's all, no, nobody else. Then it could be just his hallucination, is it not? If I am the only person who is saying that, means there's a very good possibility that it is just a hallucination of that fellow, isn't it? It's just, or he is, how can we trust that to be the reality? Only one person saying, only one man making that statement is not going to be taking as a valid one. He says, look at the history. In history, we find various masters who have reached, all those people who have experienced that state have declared that to be the state of absolute fulfillment, which means the state of the waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper is not an absolutely fulfilled state. Partial fulfillment. Partial fulfillment means what? No fulfillment, unfulfilled. Partially fulfilled means unfulfilled. Unfulfilled means agitating, disturbing state of existence. These three conditioned states where a state of unfulfillment, state of disturbance, agitation, differing only in degree. That's the only thing. It's only a difference of degree of agitation. But otherwise, it is a state of agitation only. It is a state of this disturbance. Maybe less or more. In deep sleep, it is so minimal. So for all practical purpose, it is not. Therefore, we call that as a state of bliss. I had a good sleep. You say, sound sleep I had. So peaceful. Wow. Then permanently be there, no. In deep sleep. Can you stay there permanently? Not possible. Can you define how long you are going to be in that state? That also you can't define. Right? It's not in your hands. You get into that state is not in your hands. How long you are going to stay in that state of deep sleep is not in your hands. It just happens by itself. It is beyond your control. Something is wielding the whole thing. It's not in your control. It is conditioned. That's what it means by restricted states. Whereas the state of the fourth, the state of the pure consciousness which lies beyond the three personalities of waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper. What is that personality? That pure I, distilled I which is not conditioned by any one of these three bodies: causal body, subtle body, gross body. If it can be captured without that, if you can capture the pure consciousness without any conditions, without objectifying it at all, if you can get that, those who have got that, they have declared, what is it? That state to be a state of absolute fulfillment. Different periods of time. That is why it is more authentic. More people have said that, and all of them had no connection with each other. Unconnected people. But all their conclusions come to the same thing. What is that conclusion they arrive at? It is a state of absolute peace, bliss, fulfillment, contentment, satisfaction. Therefore, we understand there is a state of pure consciousness. Because we do keep asking this question, what is the proof? There is a proof for the fourth state. So what he's saying here is, there is a fourth state. Fourth state means beyond and different from the three. There is something standing different from beyond the three. There is one. Number two, once you reach that, once you capture that, once you realize that, once you understand that, whatever word you want. All right, I prefer the word experience. Sometimes people may say, I don't prefer the word experience, I prefer the word realization. Sometimes people use the word realization is also understanding alone. That's all. You can, that is up to you. These are all just playing with words. Okay. All three same thing. Understanding, experience, or you realize. Once you reach that, once you experience that absolute state, once you capture that fourth state, you get this absolute fulfillment. Which means, absolute fulfillment means there is no force, there is no more seeking for more fulfillment, more pleasure, more joy. You don't want to add anything more. That is the state of absolute fulfillment. You have to define what is the meaning of absolute fulfillment. Fully filled means nothing else can be added onto it. That is called fully filled. That's what Krishna says in the Gita. Apuryamana machala pratishta. Samudramapa pratishantiya. It is filling all. Nothing happens to the ocean. Doesn't make any difference. It is totally filled. Achalam. It is unmoved. That absolute state, which means there is nothing that can be added. No need of anything to be added. No work, no effort, nothing to be added, no effort I put in to add anything to it. Which means there is no force. There is no pressure. That means what we infer from that is what he is explaining next. If you have not reached that fourth plane, understood is what? You have not experienced absolute fulfillment. See, first thing he says, there is distinct, different from the three. Fourth is there. Then he said, not only through logic he is establishing with the statements of various masters at various periods of time. What is their statement? Their statement is, once you reach that state of Turiya, fourth, you experience absolute fulfillment. Suppose if a fellow were to say, I am not seeking absolute fulfillment and all that. I'm not interested in all that, sir. Which means I don't have to go anywhere, you see. Therefore, he is giving the rest. Therefore comes the next. Suppose if I say that if I have not reached that absolute fulfillment, why should I reach to that absolute fulfillment? If I don't reach, what will happen? Do I have a choice? This is the next analysis he is going on to. Right. We'll see in the next class. Thank you.